Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Guess the WN8, where my viewers submit replays and I guess their stats based entirely on their gameplay. If I get within 250 WN8 or 2% wins, then I win and I don't have to give them gold. If I don't, then I don't. How about that? This is a paid replay submission. I appreciate you. You can submit via the paid link in the description to get your replay guaranteed to be used, or you can submit for free. Anyhow, Centurion Axe, Tier 10 British TD, Medium, and we were just having discussions in chat, remembering when this tank was the FV4202, and Jonty in chat certainly prefers the FV, believe it or not. But the Centurion Axe does have considerable advantages over the FV, top speed for one thing being 55, and heat shells. I didn't get a chance to judge his equipment, unfortunately. Oh, and we do have a paid replay donation as well. I appreciate you. That will go in the list, and it is guaranteed to be used. Now, as I say, 55 kilometers an hour top speed, because that was always the crippling thing about the British medium tanks, is they had the top speed of around 40 with the Centurion 7.1, and then the FV, which felt really limiting. Now, up to 55 certainly opens them up to a decent bit more versatility in terms of their role on the battlefield. It looked like that was almost aiming at that track there, which, oh, we do aim for the double track. Now, I don't think that it's interesting because aiming for modules and tracks is something that better players do, but better players would have more judgment here. The 2 shots of damage in this circumstance would have been far more valuable than tracking that 1-2-1 here. In my opinion, because there's no additional damage there other than the arty. And the arty's probably going to put a shot out anyway. So, it's interesting. This is someone who's good enough to put out tracking shots, but not good enough to discern when just going for flat damage is better. Or just made a mistake. Certainly interesting either way. Okay, catching the leopard. I love that tracking shot. That tracking shot is gorgeous. Track and damage, always optimal. Okay, what is the DPM of the Centurion these days? I'm curious. 30,000 base DPM, that's very pleasant indeed. Is it the Royal Ordnance gun on this thing? Was that exclusive? No, that's exclusive to the Centurion 7.1. And talking of the Centurion 7.1, which, by the way, awesome tank because it has a sort of a unique attribute with its gun that enables. It's like the Charioteer gun in that its premium shells are HESH with 210mm of pen, and that Tier 9 doing that 210 pen, 480. Oh, small gun from the T95, good to know for later. 210 pen with 480 alpha damage is really pleasant on a Tier 9 medium, especially if you're fighting Tier 7s. Oh, and we're going into a crossfire here. Oh, this is really, really difficult. Really difficult to know what to do here because a crossfire is really strong against uncommitted attacks. What I mean by that is if this Malshin doesn't play aggressively, if this guy sits there and goes, okay, who do I shoot at, what do I do, right? The enemy's position and their crossfire gets stronger. But crossfires aren't weak against full pushes, right? They're just weaker than their ideal engagement. But this is really difficult to win. Like, I don't know if you win this by pushing into it, unless the Malshin does a lot of good work here. This is really difficult to know what to do with this. Malshin's pushing, you can't leave him alone, so you push, and do you overcommit? Yes, okay, lovely awareness. We take the T-54 out of the fight, We do with our 10 degrees of gun depression. Get that shot into the 1-2-1. Maoshin should have a shot for you eventually. Wonderful work on the Maoshin. Going for that tracking and engine shot again. Beautiful stuff. And what do you know? We were able to win it. Good work by the Maoshin. Using his hit points, using his armor to open up opportunities for more mobile tanks. It's your responsibility as a heavy tank. And even with the stun net, this is suboptimal because right now the enemy gave us a very good demonstration of how you should receive a linear push like this, right? Crossfire. It would be nice if we had the Centurion out there and the Maoshin sideswiped up against this, but we don't. Now, what's interesting is that if the T-54 leaves that position, this T-95 becomes vulnerable. If the T-54 stays there, then the T-95 can keep pushing. But this T-95 should be very aware of his isolation. He should be thinking, okay, I can handle this with my stock gun. Remember, it's 400 alpha damage with a quicker reload than it otherwise would be. But this T-95 should be very aware of this T-54. And if that T-54 goes away, he should be thinking, okay, I need to play this a bit more conservatively. Let's see. Can we get out? Gotta use this Maoshin for cover. Going for the track. T-95 does repair. Using the hit points of this Maoshin. Good stuff. Getting the track shot out while you can. And there we go. Lovely. Okay. Module targeting has been good, but you've got to keep that track off. Otherwise, you could die here. You've got to keep that track off. Oh, and that Maoshin's doing God's work, dude. God's work by that Maoshin. Look at him. Just sticking that T-95 up against that wall, not letting him turn. Heavy tank, the Maoshin. And we do get a thank you between these two guys here. They've done some wonderful work taking this mid together. Right. And now, one-shot Centurion. Should we talk about the gun a bit? 0.32 accuracy with a 2.1 second aim time. Got 268 standard pen on the APCR. And 330 on the heat, 105 on the HE with 480 alpha. Which one surprised that we don't have more than 5 here. Maybe we did and we fired them and I haven't noticed, but this thing carries 68 shells, so there's certainly real estate to be taking more HE here. And HE is absolutely a good choice of ammo. And it is interesting, I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, we were talking about the FV4202 when it was still the tier 10 British medium here. And we were talking about how it had that 210mm of premium pen for 480 alpha, which is really nice at tier 9 on the Centurion 7.1, but at tier 10, you really felt the inability to engage some difficult targets like a mouse, E100, that kind of thing, with the lack of a viable counter. You didn't have heat, you just had 210 with Hesh and 105 with your standard Hesh. So it was really difficult to be viable in those engagements. Not the case anymore. I'd be worried about an RT shell connecting with me here. Ooh, lucky. Okay, alright. Going back towards the team, I like this. There's not a huge amount of threat from the enemy team. Over here, they've got 2 one-shots. Honestly, if these guys push into base, they die. The Object 140 is a little threatening towards mid. But right now, if we clear up this area of land, we bring into the fight the DZ, the Bleskowicka, the Waffenträger, and we get the RT potentially spotting guys harnessing into base as well. So I like the fact that we're not isolating here. We're pushing back towards our team. And are we going to cover them here? We can do. This is viable. Waiting for a shot here. Could pick up a kill shot. I do like the idea of trying to pressure and win this side, because as I say, it clears up my team, but guarding the lead is certainly a viable way of playing this. And we do get that funny kill. Okay, keep watching, keep watching. Right? This is really important. So many of us have an instinct to fall back after we're holding a corner and we get a shot off. Do not fall back unless you are threatened, unless you are forced to. You have an inherent advantage while holding the corner. We've all of us pretty much have been in corner fights, right? And we know that ideally we want to sideswipe the shell and we want to hold the corner position. Right? We want to be in that position waiting for the enemy to try and poke out. Right? And we recognize that we have that advantage. And so often, people will fire and then voluntarily they'll squander that advantage by reversing or retreating around the corner. You should be wanting to. There should be a powerful desire to hold that angle on that corner. And the only way that you stop doing that is if you are actively forced off of it by the opposition. Right now, that's not the case, so we stay, we don't... See, that tiny little lapse in optimization. We got the kill, and we removed ourselves from awareness. And to be clear, in this circumstance, it's probably not going to cost an awful lot. But it allows the possibility of an Object 140 setting up the hold on this corner, of a mouse setting up the hold on this corner. Something like that. Because of our lapse in awareness, we retreated for no reason. Absolutely no reason. What should have been done here? What should have been done? Well, you don't move a muscle, right? You get this kill. This is wonderful. This is exactly what you want. Is this kill coming up? Oh, I'm like at 116 speed. Okay. Here we go. About to get this kill. Patience. Now, we got the kill. We stay. We do not move. We're in cover from the arty. We're not threatened. It's so instinctual to fall back after you get a kill like that. But it forsakes power of the position. It forsakes awareness. Like, none of this is necessary. None of this is necessary. See that? That right there. Ooh, okay. Now we want to... Okay, Object 140 has moved all the way around. Okay. Now we're not threatened by a flank. Now this I kind of like. Can we provoke some difficult angles here? Gotta remember that there's still two arty in play. Ooh, and we do have a sneaky angle on the target mouse. Again, we're retreating when we don't really need to. We're not going to be spotted through this foliage. All it does is just disperse our gun. Means that we have to poke for the same shot again. If you have a good angle, keep that angle unless you are forced. Okay, no. Look, you're probably dead anyway at this point. You want to get the shot. And I talk about this so much. Attack the enemy while they are moving. That is when you trade damage. If you have a fair fight with this 140, you're dead. Right? You need to trade damage when he is moving and you are not. So you needed to wait on that corner and put a shot in as he comes out. It's the best shot you're going to get, and it means that he has to cross at least a little bit of distance that maybe gives you a better chance of when you're loading. Right? Because otherwise, you're just dead. Right? You've got to pressure out damage while the enemy are moving across open ground. Because now you're poking while he's... Ooh, okay. See, that was almost good. Tracking shot. Oh. Oh, it was almost beautiful. It was almost beautiful. But again, slightly suboptimal. Slightly suboptimal. What we can do to learn from that is the end result was the same because we did, what was it? It was, oh, I already went past it. So let's look at this engagement because it's really important. You want to get that shot out so that while they are closing the distance, you're already going through that reload. You don't want to reload in close proximity. So here, you stop and you aim on that corner. Hopefully you get the tracking shot, right? But now you do it. This is good, right? Because it shows awareness of, oh, okay, I need to put out that shot. It was just a lapse in awareness of how this engagement should be played. Just a, okay, can I get out of it? No, now I need to do it. So, there. Obviously, if we had been here, pre-aimed, do we get the tracking shot on this corner? Potentially. Does that mean that when he comes down this corner, and we get that shot, does it mean that he no longer has an repair kit? Like, it's possible. And this is why minute optimizations like this spell the difference between, you know, the best players and players who end up in situations like this. It's a good game, mostly a lot of good play, but just not up there with the best of how this game could have been played. As Malshens again doing work. Love to see it. Our RT go down to the T-54 lightweight. And no one's overexposing here, but we do have to be aware that the enemy have two RT and we... Oh, and there goes the Waffle, and we don't. And when you are playing against an enemy team that have artillery, and you do not, passive play generally favors the enemy. And what I mean by that is not necessarily, like, actively passive as in not, oh my word, not attacking the enemy team, but play that's extended. As an example, if I zoomed out, let's imagine that this building is solid. If I'm playing against a Malshen and I have two RT in play, let's say I'm on that WN8, we're both a one-shot, all I have to do is hide behind this building and just go in circles, right? And eventually the Malshen dies to RT. It's a passive engagement that I just proxy spot him and I draw out the engagement and I let the RT fire come in. And obviously, if it's the other way around, the Malshen can just do the exact same thing. Malshen can say, okay, which side of this building do my RT have the better shot at? Right? And he can pass to the other side, exposing the object on 14 and get me killed by RT. So that's what I mean when I say passive engagements favor the team with more artillery or with RT fire. So something to be aware of if that situation does arise. We do own the middle here, which offers a limited amount of control over cap pressure. Certainly not enough to stop the enemy from capping if they do want to. But this Leo providing awareness might well be good. The more I look at the TX gameplay, the more terrified I am of actually getting there, despite having DCT. Well, tier 10 is really no different from any other tier. The metas are just more well established. Okay, this is interesting. Leo on a one-shot going to explore. Oh my god, the lightweight has killed himself. I don't like this isolation at this point. I don't like these guys splitting up. The play might well have been to leave the Leo right here. the Leo gets a lot of kind of awareness in this location, and the T-54 potentially blocks a shot from that corner, but you leave the Leo there facing the middle. The Leo gets the ambush shot and the awareness on people going out the middle. He gets the awareness on people poking there, on people poking there. Like, you want to think, where do I get the most awareness on the entire map? And potentially, it's right there. You cover egress to mid, you cover here, like, you get a lot of information, and information at this stage of the game is very important. But you don't want to isolate yourself from your last remaining network of support, your supportive ally, which is the Malshen. Because if it's just the Malshen in this game, your chances of winning go down significantly. Well, that T-54 lightweight killing himself is certainly very, very helpful indeed. And we are at a point in the game where, and there you go. Please tell me this is not... Okay, I was going to say, if he fucked that up, it would be quite... And, like, the Foch was just able to waltz into the middle. Like, I don't understand how you can justify isolating from your only support in this situation. Like, I don't... This is exactly where he should have been sitting, but he should have been sitting close up to this neck, watching the egress here, far enough back that he also spots a poke here and can pull forward, far enough back that he also spots a poke here and can pull forward. He should have been sat there, not in sniper mode, just watching the map, eyes on the map, because he spots 4 angles. 4 angles! I'm being told that the next part is pure. Interesting. Okay, you can... Okay, that's nice. That's... What... Hold up, what? Okay, RT misses. Do you hold this angle? Probably not. 2 RT in play. You are very open to RT here. He does want to get out. Wise enough. Okay, can we get out without being spotted? Yes, we can. Okay. Another RT misses, my word. Okay, do we... Oh, and the Foch chasing. 1 RT just fired. 261 was probably the first RT that fired and misses again. That's definitely a 261 shell, judging by the arc. And Leo 1 is running. Misses because he's stunned, but this is decent play by the Leo. Should have a chance of getting the kill here. 140 hits the feckin' gun. Don't move, don't give it time, man. It's too arty. Oh my. I mean, the Leopard did what he could there to provide the enemy the opportunity to fuck that up, and in fairness, they fucked it up beautifully. Acquiring distance, because here's another thing that I talked about before, and I learned this when I played a duck, oddly enough. And the duck, speed limit of 50 when it's going downhill on Himmelsdorf, as I was. And I managed to outplay some opponents. I think I was fighting... it was something very heavily armored. I think it was a Panzer S-35, 40mm of armor everywhere. And it was like a Panzer II or something like that. It might be a Lux, something like that. And what I did is I opened out distance by going downhill because of the speed differential between the opponents that I was facing. The Panzer II was 20, 30 kph faster than the S-35. And so when you are facing opponents with a massive degree of difference between their mobility and skill, giving them the opportunity to pressure, it's not often that a fast vehicle will wait for a slower vehicle. And so that's something you can use in endgames, is if you provide distance to the enemy, if you challenge the enemy with having to cover a lot of distance, the difference in mobility between their medium tanks and their TDs, their heavy tanks, will become greater, generally speaking, because the mobile tanks aren't patient. Like, they like to go ahead, so that distance and that ability to work together will be compromised by the impatience of the more mobile tanks. So, in that case, it didn't really apply, because actually the Object 140 and the Force are kind of similar in the speed department, believe it or not. But now, we want to be loading Hesh in the Leo 1 here, undoubtedly. Where's on the Leo? It's 105 pen or 120? 105 or 120, and Artie begin capping. That is a bold play. But if they both get in there, they do have time to cap. Though I don't... Oh dear. Oh, good game. I feel like my instinct says around 55. So I'm gonna go instinct and go like 55.25. Although I'm kind of wanting to go lower, kind of wanting to go 54. 54 point something. I will split the difference and I'll go 54.68. Yeah, 54.68. That's a fair point, Luca. For WN8, I like... The thing that I'm analysing more than anything else is the module targeting. There was this is my new account in EU. Oh, okay, so stats maybe... Okay, if it's new account, then I'll say 57? 57? Only 20k battles in Asia. Okay, so I'll go 57, 57.68, and I'll just go 20,000. I think 20,000 would be a fair estimate, although maybe that's a bit higher. I'll go 2,935. Okay, let's see. Ooh, okay. Okay. I was not... What did I say? 57.68? That's not too bad. It's not too far away. I'll take that. WN8 is lower than I thought. It may be that inefficient module targeting. I'm curious. Taco, what was your thought process when you were module targeting the 1-to-1 at the start? Were you trying to block him in front of his teammates behind him? Was that the idea? Or were you thinking that you had more fire support than you did? Because I think putting the damage out there would be more valuable. I think module targeting is a really good thing to add to your toolkit, but it can be overused. Just weak aim. Oh, you're not even aiming for the tracks. Wow, okay. Wild. Well, thank you so much, Taco, for sending that in. That was a rather enjoyable game. Should we give a shout out to the Malshen as well? That Malshen put in work in this game. Long Max 2020. Good performance by him. Doing a lot of work in a tank that's not exactly winning any award. Ladies and gentlemen, second game. Another paid replay. Thank you so much. IS-2M. This is a Soviet Tier 7 Premium Heavy Tank. And we just looked into its armor a little bit and found a couple of distinctions from its compadres. Right, the IS-2S, the IS, the other IS, and there's probably more ISs that I'm thinking of. I mean, there's 5 IS-2s in this game, so yeah. Forgive me if I can't remember all of them, but oddly enough, the side shot on the angle that you get all the way around here on like an IS, that's like 100. This area here is just a random bit of massive amount of spaced armor. So it goes up to like 200 millimeters, specifically on the IS-2M and not on the others, which is interesting. Improved hardening, improved rotation, and vert stabs. Now, that seems very dubious equipment choice to me. because the base traverse speed of the IS-2M is 36, which is really good. Really good. As an example, the hard terrain traverse of the E75, which turns really surprisingly fast on the hard terrain, is 30, as far as I remember. So, or at least the base track traverse. And that's considered good for a heavy tank. So, having 36 base here is really quite good. So, taking implementation really doesn't make a lot of sense to me over taking something like WoT stabs. Right? If you're taking implementation for the increased turret stabilization, gun stabilization, while turning the turret, then you should swap it out for WoT stabs, because you're not getting much use out of making this thing turn faster, in my opinion. And the third equipment choice was vents, which again seems odd to me. We've got 4.88 amps per minute with this 122mm gun, D25T gun, I believe. It used to be found on the KV-1S back in the day. Who remembers that? Let me know in the comments if you remember the joys of the KV-1S back when it was tier 6 and an absolute monster. But yeah, we got 0.45 accuracy, and I believe, what's the aim time? 20.4? Somewhere around there. It's certainly not good, whatever it is. 20.3, and that is quite bad. So that's why I'm talking about using things like WoT stabs, like, just to compensate for that. I guess the vents will help that with that as well, but given the gameplay dynamics of this vehicle, you probably want to consider something like a gun rammer more so than vents, in my opinion. We do have a premium consumable up in the crew skills by 10%. Basic points of this thing, I think, is 1,250. Its DPM and hit points are eclipsed by things like the Tiger 1, just as a fun fact. Basic points 1,500. I always used to like to get in fights with the Tiger 1 against things like the IS-2M, because I would just go out and just get into a DPM fight. Shot for shot. Yeah, it was good fun. Right, so 350 meters of view range, I believe, here on the IS-2M. Fun fact, if we're talking about ISs, or IS-2s specifically, the IS-2S, so the IS-2 Shielded, has a load of spaced armor spread about on the tank. And the funny thing is, it actually lowers the view range. There's a massive bit of spaced armor in front of the cupola, and so the view range is 10 meters worse. So that's fun. And even funnier because the spaced armor isn't really enough to do anything. It just makes it harder for the commander to see shit. Yay, tank design! I'm sure it worked in real life. Alright, but pressuring here is nice, and you wanted to keep going. I want you to keep going after you take the shot. Why are you... My man! My dude! Oh, you are... I hope it was planned. Because I'm looking at D3, D2 right now, and I'm thinking Scorpion. I'm thinking Stick Emil, who is platooned with the SU, who is on that ridge line, and I'm thinking Basotto. So my immediate instinct coming down this hill, I like pressing here, right? I think you have a legitimate chance of doing so, and it's a powerful play, but you want to make it optimally. You want to go down. Look how exposed you are to that ridge line. The only saving place is that it's slightly out of render distance. So here's the question. If it was planned, if you knew that back here was just out of render distance of the TDs, then it's a viable and pretty good play. But you still need to be pressing down to this area so you don't get the poke on that corner, you don't get two people engaging you at once, or more than two people. So, let's see. Stopping up in the open here, and we're driving. Okay, forward. Don't stop here. You just drove into render distance of a potential Scorpion, Stern, Miller, Basotto, and the SU. You meant to go there. You go there, you engage these guys, and you have side-scraping capabilities on this. Oh no. Please stop, please stop, please Yes! 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 Okay! 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 Oh, thank goodness. It took a while. Okay, okay, now you pick and engage. Doesn't really matter. You pick one. Good. A little suboptimal, but good. But again, we didn't have to expose that far. We could have just come here. The awareness of potential angles. It's gonna bite you in the ass. It is a sign of mediocre or inexperienced gameplay. Now we got a top speed of 34 kilometers per hour, using it to chase down this Type 58 here, and I would have, while that guy was unspotted, I would have been zoomed out and I would have been looking to the right. Because I would have not been sure, am I exposing myself? As it turns out, I'm not, but I would have been aware of that, and I would have liked to have seen that awareness. 20.3 seconds of aiming time working there. Okay, but the TDs are adventurous. They might try and shoot him out of render. Yes, that would be very funny. Ambition, we like it. Okay, and intuitioning back to AP. 175mm of standard pen here. At no point in this game have we needed premium, which is 217. And 6 shells on HE, providing 61mm of pen. SU-152 there goes down to the SU-101. And where is this defender? Oh, he's still on full health and all the way over there. The Scorpion was... ah, 0.45 accuracy. There you go. Okay. Speeding it up by 2. This tank doesn't aim that fast. Okay, okay. Acceptable blind fire. Oh, and Scorpion's coming out to say hi. Good connection. You should die here. Reverse speed of what? 12? I'll check the reverse speed. Does get out. Lovely. What is the reverse speed? Be good to know. 14. Okay, a little better than I thought. Just enough. If it had been 12, you probably would have died there. Okay. At this point, you might want to load a HE. HE on this thing, 530 alpha. Right? Probably worth a go. Oh, now it's certainly worth a go. That would have been very funny to pick up a pixel there. And we got to be worried about the Basotto. I want a hard left turn. Why do I want a hard left turn? Because it makes these buildings bigger. Alright? I mean, it doesn't, but perspective is perspective. The closer you get to these buildings, the more of this Basotto's potential shot is blocked by them. So, going out here? No, 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 no. Going here? Yes, yes, yes. Right, R function. Bit of a snap. Okay, hard left, 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 humanity peaks at our community. Left. Oh, whoopsie doozy, we've been shot by the Basotto. Who could have seen that coming? Oh, no. Okay, blind shot. Make me happy. Believe it or not, Basotto, highest stationary camo in the entire game. And people might argue with that. I'll say, but Steve, the IKV-72 has the highest base camo stationary in the entire game. Yes, you are right, it does. But due to the changes to equipment, you can use directives at tier 6, which you cannot use at tier 3, and because of that, the Basotto does take the crown for the highest possible camo rating that you can achieve while stationary, which is somewhere in the vicinity of 73%. That's not with the bush, by the way. You just sit there, your camo net goes up, you're 73% camo. Because it's funny, and to be clear, there's no circumstance in the game in which if you're using foliage correctly, you need anywhere near that level of camo. It's just funny. It's the same reason in an ELC even 90, we don't push our camo up to 61% on the move, which we could do. Oh, that's very nice. Defender snaps the shot. But we don't do it because it's not optimal for the gameplay of the vehicle. And in the same way, max camo Basotto, as funny as it is, there are remarkably few circumstances in-game in which it is necessary, because if you're using foliage properly, you're going to be reversing behind it. Wow, that is a bounce. So I emphasize this, if you're using foliage properly, you're going to be reversing behind it before you fire the majority of the time. And what does that do? Well, it breaks your camo net. It's one of the reasons that camo nets are the most useless piece of equipment in the entire game, along with the exhaust system, which is the primary reason that they are. You beat that defender's reload, by the way. 4.88 rounds per minute. Yeah, let's check it, just so I'm not filling your head with bullshit. Let's check. Defender. What is the rate of fire of the formerly busted vehicle? 4. So yeah, you've got 0.88 rounds per minute more than him. If he has a gun hammer though, it could be closer. So maybe you're aware that because you have vents, you maybe don't beat his reload. But passivity is fine here because that flank is coming in, right? We're not feeling a huge amount of pressure. But now we can get him, maybe poke him up the booty. Do we get this? Yes, we do. Very nice. 240 alpha on the super pushing there. Debatable whether he would have killed you. Bounced an APCR shell from the defender there. Probably off of the side of the turret. Yes, indeed. Look at that. If he hit anywhere here, ooh, it's going straight through. Okay. That's a top gun for him in a tier 8 game. That's very nice. It wasn't good. It wasn't good gameplay. Oh, there's a lot of mistakes. It feels very average. I'm thinking sort of 49, 50 at a push. Mate, I feel like anything higher than 50 feels generous to me. My instinct is like 49.5. Like somewhere around there. So let's go with instinct, shall we? Instinct is 49.5. There were so many positional missteps. Lack of awareness of TD positions and fire at distance. I did like the fact that we picked an engagement. We didn't sit stuck between two of these guys and let them get damage into us. We picked a side to go and kill, which was nice, but while doing that, we exposed ourselves to TDs again. We crossed here in the middle of the open instead of just simply turning left to cut down the Basotto's angle. I reckon 49.5, 49.56 is my guess. And for WN8, I'll go 999. Help me. I will call 999 if it's anything higher than 51%, because I will literally die. 50.4% from John T. Okay, so estimate 49.56 and 999. Ooh. Okay, better than I thought. And hey, getting better recently. WN8's higher than I thought. It did have 2 9s in it, though. It had 2 9s in it. So, I win, right? That's how it works. Not bad. I didn't have to fork out any cash this session. I got within 2% of all of them. Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Look in the description for next and previous episodes and the playlist as well. You can submit via the page replay link in the description if you want to guarantee that your replay is used, or you can submit for free via Discord. Instructions are in the link in the description. So, thank you so much. And farewell.
Humanity peaks at our community manager. He is mentally jacked and strengthening our backs just like the corner weight on the turret of the challenger. Cause if we find ourselves yourselves in a crappy mood. You will brighten our day just through your attitude. Steven and Peabody, badass crew. So please take the song as a token of my gratitude.